Alright, so I've owned this car a little over a year now. I put about 20,000 miles on it. And some people were curious about my experience with it, especially since it was originally kind of a higher mileage car. Hold on, let me show you. I bought it with 127,000. We're at 148, almost 149. Some people might not consider that high. But, you know, for a German vehicle, even though it is just a Volkswagen, that might seem high to some people. A little over a year, about 20,000 miles. What has this car given me issues with? The first big thing was the transmission. This is a DSG car, so it's got the dual clutch. It's common for the mechatronics units to go bad. And I don't know if it was because of the way I was driving, because I am very rough on this car. It could have been because I had an ECU tune, so it was making a lot more power, a lot more torque, and I was still on the stock TCU tune for the transmission that could have did it. But yeah, there was a lot of races, there were a lot of launches, there were a lot of burnouts done on that old transmission. And one day I went to McDonald's, got me a Sprite in the parking lot, and I went to back out, and it kept kicking me out of reverse. And I had to push it out manually, like with my feet, then put it in drive, and the whole drive home I was stuck in like third gear. So that's definitely the biggest issue I've had with this car. I'm gonna go ahead and get that out of the way now. It's interesting though, because if I can find the pictures, I'll put them in the video right here. But when we got the transmission out, there were some serial numbers kind of like marked on the top of the transmission housing, and like you wouldn't be able to see those markings with the transmission in the car. We didn't see them until we got it out the car. So it kind of makes me think that maybe something happened with the original transmission, and then maybe that trans was pulled, and then one of the previous owners or the shop I bought it from, for example, may have bought a spare one from like a junkyard or a wreck car, because it had like a little serial number inscribed on the top. It didn't look factory at all. And then they threw it in and resold it. But yeah. It could have been my issue, could have been the way I've been driving. It could have been the shop or one of the previous owners. But it is what it is. That transmission could have had 200, 300,000 miles on it for all I know, and there's no telling how it was treated. But yeah, I ended up buying a new transmission for 600 bucks. Swapped it in. And for the most part, it's been good. At high RPM, sometimes it'll slip just a little on shifts, but replacing a clutch pack is a lot easier than replacing a whole transmit. Well, it's basically the same fucking job, but you know, it's a lot easier on the wallet, especially if I go with an OEM clutch pack, which I plan to do whenever I go big turbo. That's later down the road. Other than that, this car has not given me a major issue. I've had the PVC or PCV valve, whatever the fuck it is, go bad. And that's a pretty expensive part for no fucking reason. It was like 80 bucks, 80, 90 bucks for a not remanufactured, but for like another OEM to make it. And like Volkswagen OEM was like $180. But I did a video on that actually. But that took 10 minutes to replace. That wasn't hard at all. I had an ABS sensor, wheel speed sensor go bad. The guy that I had replaced my transmission, he ended up just fixing that because it just had a loose connection. So it was pretty easy to repair. And that didn't really cost me anything. Other than that, ooh, this one that pissed me off the most. Look at this shit. The headliner is sagging right there, and it's sagging down completely on top of my sunroof. Just the sunroof portion though. And I'm almost certain that it's just because the car has to sit outside. Like it happened during the summer, so I'm assuming the heat fucked it up. But yeah, that's gonna be the most annoying one to fix, because I'm afraid I'm worried about the whole headliner having to come down because it's sagging on the sunroof. I don't know if that's gonna be a bitch to get to. That's the main thing I'm worried about. So yeah, we're outside the car now, but that's pretty much it as far as its current issues go. Pretty much any other issue this car has given me, it's been due to me. Right now, obviously the car's not running, you can't see it, but right now I have a check engine light. It's throwing a code for my O2 sensor. That's mainly because I have a crackle tune on this. It's a full bolt-on and tuned car, intake downpipe, intercooler, exhaust tune. It's just for me crackling all the fucking time, fucked up an O2 sensor. So other than that, me needing a new O2 sensor, which is my fault. The only other issue I think I'm having right now is, you can't see it from up here, but I think my cam girdle seal is leaking. Something's leaking. It's a very slow leak of oil, and the only reason I noticed it was because on the under tray it was just damp with a little bit of oil. So something's leaking a little bit. Now I do want to make it clear, and this was the main reason I bought this specific car and not just a random one. These cars have issues with the timing chain stretching out of spec and then blowing motors, and they also have a lot of issues with the intake manifold. Then they also have water pump issues. I bought this one. I had to drive 3 hours to buy this one. I bought this one solely because it had all three of those issues already addressed, so I didn't have to spend any more money out of pocket to get that shit fixed. Because yeah, and I paid $8,300 for this car. It's a little high considering the miles. Like, this was pre-COVID, so that was pretty high considering the miles, but I felt like it was worth it because the shop that I bought it from had proof of all the work, and they specialized in like Volkswagens and stuff like that, and so I trusted their work. And I've checked the timing chain stretch with OBD11. If you don't have an OBD11, you have one of these, get OBD11, it's worth it. But yeah, I checked the timing chain stretch, everything came back fine, so I trusted the rest of their work as well. But timing chain's been updated. All the components with the timing have been replaced. Water pump's been replaced, I think, twice. And the intake manifold's been replaced twice. And none of those things have given me any issue since I've owned this car. And I drive it hard. But outside of the things I mentioned, the only current issues this car has is the O2 sensor and that cam girdle leak, which I know a guy that works on these cars specifically. That shouldn't be too crazy to get fixed. I mean, it is a used car with high miles. My camera's doing something weird. Okay, there we go. It is a used car with high miles that I beat on, so I mean, it's not shocking, you know what I mean? Trying to think of anything else. Guess we could talk about what to look out for. I pretty much already mentioned it. Make sure the timing's done. Get you if you're really serious about getting a Mark 5, a later model Mark 5, I think 2008, 2009 Mark 5, any year Mark 6, and maybe even Mark 7s, buy you an OBD11 and check for that timing chain stretch, because if not, it's probably going to cost you at least $1,000 at a dealership. And if you jump timing, these motors are really fucking expensive. You're going to spend $3,000 probably to get another one and still have to do the timing. So that's something I would make sure was done if I didn't check anything else. You want to look out for water pumps. I don't know what it is with German automakers and water pumps, but it's just something they never seem to get right. So I would definitely look out for that. For these cars specifically, just the intake manifold is what I would look out for, because these, on the older ones, there's like some runner flaps inside and they fail, and then the car wants to idle funny and sometimes it'll shut off. So that's something I would check out for as well. I can't really think of any other major issues. So give you a little quick walk around. It's nothing too crazy. Lip, wheels, full bolt-ons, exhaust, wing extension. You gotta look at this from certain angles because it's kind of thin. Then we got a rear diffuser. Yeah, you can see it a little better now. And that's on lowering springs. Interior stock. I haven't done anything with the interior. Intake. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, outside of that transmission issue, I've really only had just high mileage car issues. Just wear and tear because it's almost at 150,000 miles. And I mean, even with the transmission issue, these transmissions are pretty cheap. It could definitely be a lot worse. So it's not the end of the world unless you have to get to work that day or something. But other than the transmission crap that I went through summer of last year, this has been a pretty damn reliable car, and it really hasn't given me a whole lot of issues. Currently I got that cam girdle seal leak, but like it's not even leak. Like I noticed it 2 weeks ago and I haven't even noticed a difference in my dipstick. So it's not a bad leak. Other than that, car really ain't gave me no crazy issues. Overall, I'm very happy with my purchase. I mean, I do tend to get bored quickly. That's why I'm adding more power to this before I even get another car. Because I'm trying to get a hold of 2 different cars this year. And y'all will see them as time goes on. But I'm happy with it. It's treated me pretty well overall. It could be a lot worse. And yeah, I guess I'll end it there. I appreciate all y'all for watching. If you like the video, please subscribe, do your thing. And yeah, peace out.